Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up every day feeling truly valued, surrounded by people who see your worth and lift you higher. Now ask yourself, are the relationships in your life nourishing your soul, or are they quietly draining your energy? Today, I want to share a powerful truth. You have the right and the responsibility to cut ties with those who don't value you. Recognizing your self-worth is the foundation of every healthy, meaningful relationship. It's the core principle that determines how you allow others to treat you and how you treat yourself in return. Yet, so many of us walk through life with a quiet, often unnoticed struggle, a struggle to truly see ourselves as valuable, deserving of love, respect, and kindness. We get caught in the trap of believing that if we just do enough, try hard enough, or prove ourselves constantly, then maybe, just maybe, we'll be enough in someone else's eyes. But that's a lie. That's a game we don't have to play. You see, understanding your self-worth isn't about arrogance or ego. It's about clarity. It's about knowing deep down in your spirit that you are enough exactly as you are. It's about holding your head high and recognizing that your value isn't dependent on external validation. It's intrinsic. It's built into who you are, your unique combination of talents, experiences, dreams, and even your scars. They all tell a story of resilience, of overcoming, of becoming. When you truly recognize your worth, a shift happens. You stop settling for less than you deserve. You stop accepting treatment that diminishes your spirit. You begin to see yourself not through the lens of others' opinions or fleeting circumstances, but through the unwavering truth of who you are. It's a realization that sometimes requires quiet reflection, honesty, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. It's about asking yourself, am I allowing this person or this situation to define my value? If the answer is yes, then it's time for a serious reevaluation. The world is full of distractions that tempt us to forget our worth. It whispers lies that if we don't measure up to certain standards, we're somehow less than. But those are lies. Your worth isn't measured by the number of likes on social media, the approval of others, or superficial markers of success. It's rooted in the divine purpose within you. It's in the uniqueness of your gifts and the potential waiting to be unlocked. When you understand that, you begin to see every relationship as an opportunity to affirm your value rather than diminish it. Recognizing your worth also means setting boundaries. It's about understanding that you don't have to tolerate disrespect, neglect, or abuse, whether emotional, verbal, or physical. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are guardrails that protect your peace and integrity. When you value yourself, you become intolerant of anything that chips away at your sense of dignity. It's about knowing that your time, your energy, and your heart are precious commodities that deserve careful stewardship. But understanding your worth isn't just a one-time revelation. It's a daily practice. It's waking up each morning reminding yourself that you are deserving of love and respect. It's choosing to surround yourself with people who see your light and actively celebrate it. It's refusing to accept less than what you know you deserve. Because the moment you start to truly believe in your worth, everything changes. You no longer chase validation, you attract it. You become a magnet for relationships and opportunities that align with your value. This realization isn't always easy. It often requires us to confront painful truths about how we've allowed others to treat us over the years. Sometimes we've been conditioned to accept less because that's what we've seen modeled in our families, our communities, or even in our own past relationships. But the good news is that recognizing your worth is a powerful act of rebellion against those ingrained patterns. It's a declaration that you refuse to be undervalued any longer. It's a commitment to be the architect of your own life, choosing relationships that uplift, inspire, and propel you forward. Knowing your worth is also about patience and grace. It's about understanding that this journey isn't about perfection, but progress. Some days will be harder than others, especially when old habits threaten to pull you back into familiar toxic patterns. But each day is an opportunity to reaffirm your value. Each choice to walk away from negativity is a step toward living authentically. When you recognize your worth, you begin to see the signs of those relationships that no longer serve your highest good. You learn to listen to your intuition, that quiet voice inside that says, "This isn't right for me," and act accordingly. You see, self-worth isn't just about how you see yourself. It's also about how others see you. When you truly value yourself, it becomes evident in your actions, your words, and your energy. People will sense your confidence, your boundaries, and your standards. They will either rise to meet the level you set or fall away because they don't align with your worth. That's okay. That's part of the process. Because only when you know your value can you attract the kind of relationships that reflect it. It's a journey of unlearning old narratives that you're not enough, that you have to earn love, or that your worth is conditional. It's about rewriting those stories with the truth that you are inherently valuable, just as you are. When you do that, you stop seeking approval externally and start living from a place of inner confidence. You begin to see your worth not as something to be earned, but as a gift you already possess. And that gift is powerful. It empowers you to walk away from anything or anyone that diminishes your light. It gives you the courage to stand tall and say, I am enough, even when others try to make you feel otherwise. It's a daily affirmation that your value isn't determined by circumstances or other people's opinions, but by the divine truth that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. So embrace this journey of recognizing your worth. Celebrate who you are today, flaws, scars, strengths, and all. Because when you do, you unlock the key to living a life that's authentic, fulfilling, and aligned with your highest purpose. Your worth isn't just a concept. It's a reality that shapes every decision, every relationship, and every step you take toward the life you were destined to live. Remember, you are deserving of love, not because of what you do or how others see you, but because of who you are at your core. Own that truth, walk in that confidence, and never settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. Recognizing your self-worth is the first step toward transforming every relationship in your life. So when you understand your value, you no longer accept treatment that diminishes your spirit. Instead, you begin to demand the respect and love that you inherently deserve. It's about knowing that you are worthy of genuine connection, of kindness, and of people who see and celebrate the real you. That's the foundation for building relationships that lift your life rather than weigh it down. As you move forward in this journey, remember that your worth is a gift, something to be cherished and protected. It's the anchor that keeps you grounded in the midst of chaos and the beacon that guides you toward healthy, nourishing relationships. When you truly recognize your worth, you become unstoppable. You become a magnet for positivity, growth, and love that reflects the beautiful, valuable person you are. And that's a truth worth holding on to forever. Courage is often misunderstood. We think it's about the absence of fear, about being fearless in the face of adversity. But real courage is about something deeper. It's about choosing yourself even when fear whispers loudly in your ear. It's about standing tall when everything inside you wants to shrink back, hide, or stay silent. If you're waiting for the perfect moment when fear disappears, you might be waiting forever. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision that something is worth more than your fear. It's about knowing you're worth enough to walk away from what no longer serves your purpose, even when your heart trembles at the thought of letting go. Sometimes, the hardest act of courage is simply walking away from people who don't see your value. It's hard because we're wired to seek connection, to seek validation, to believe that if we just try hard enough, we can make people see our worth. But the truth is, you can't force someone to see your value. You can't make someone cherish you if they refuse to recognize your worth. That's a hard truth to confront, but an essential one for your growth. When you realize that your value isn't dependent on others' perceptions, a new freedom awakens inside you. You start to see that walking away isn't an act of rejection, but an act of self-respect. It's about protecting your peace, preserving your energy, and honoring your journey. Walking away from toxic relationships requires a level of bravery that many people don't realize they possess. It's a decision that's often met with resistance, guilt, or fear of loneliness. But what if I told you that loneliness isn't your enemy? What if I told you that sometimes solitude is the space where your soul begins to heal, grow, and prepare for what's truly meant for you? Because when you stay in relationships where you're undervalued, you're not just wasting your time. You're dimming your light. You're giving away pieces of yourself that you can't get back. And deep down, you know it. You know when something no longer fits, when it's weighing you down instead of lifting you up. The challenge is to have the courage to listen to that inner voice, to trust it, and to act on it. Letting go is never easy. It's uncomfortable, sometimes even painful, but it's necessary. Because holding on to what no longer serves your purpose is like clutching a sinking ship. You're only delaying the inevitable. The truth is, you're meant to soar, to thrive, and to surround yourself with people who see your potential and nurture it. When you muster the courage to walk away from what's toxic or unworthy, you're creating space for new, healthier connections to enter. You're making room for growth, for healing, for your destiny to unfold without the weight of unnecessary baggage. And let me tell you, the courage to walk away is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. It's an act of self-love and self-preservation. When you choose to disconnect from those who don't see your worth, you're saying, I deserve better. And that's one of the most powerful affirmations you can make. Because once you decide that your value is non-negotiable, you refuse to accept anything less than what you truly deserve. That decision becomes a seed of hope, a declaration that your life is too precious to be wasted on anything or anyone that diminishes it. Sometimes the biggest hurdle isn't the fear of being alone, but the fear of what comes after. We're conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to the relationships we have. That being single or alone means we're somehow incomplete. But that's a lie. Your worth isn't determined by your relationship status. It's rooted in who you are. When you learn to be comfortable in your own company, to find peace in solitude, you become unstoppable, because then you're no longer seeking validation from outside sources. You're living from a place of inner strength. Choosing to walk away also requires a shift in mindset. It's about seeing separation not as rejection, but as redirection. When you walk away from relationships that no longer serve your highest good, you're opening the door for new opportunities, new friendships, and new levels of growth. You're aligning yourself with your purpose rather than distractions. Sometimes we hold on because we're afraid of what we might lose. The real loss is staying stuck in a place where we're undervalued and unfulfilled. The gain is living in alignment with your true self, with your goals, with your dreams. That's what makes courage so powerful. It's about stepping into the unknown with confidence, knowing that what's on the other side is worth every brave step you take. You don't have to do this alone. Courage is contagious. When you see others walking away from what no longer serves them, it inspires you to do the same. It reminds you that you're not alone in this journey. Your courage can be the catalyst for someone else to find theirs. Because in truth, we're all walking through seasons of growth and change. Some relationships are meant to stay, but many are meant to go. And that's okay. It's part of life's divine design. Remember, the most significant growth often happens when we're willing to let go. When we release what's holding us back, we create space for the new, for the better, for the things that truly belong to us. It takes guts, yes, but it also takes faith. Faith that your worth is so valuable that you won't settle for less. Faith that better is coming. And faith that you're resilient enough to survive the storm of change. So I want you to hold on to this truth. Your courage to walk away is a declaration that you value yourself enough to seek what aligns with your purpose. It's a statement that your life is too precious to be weighed down by people or situations that drain your spirit. When you decide to let go, you're not just freeing yourself from toxicity, you're stepping into your power, claiming the space you were meant to occupy. That act of bravery will ripple through every area of your life, teaching you that your worth is non-negotiable and your happiness is worth fighting for. It's a journey of trusting yourself enough to know that even in separation, you're moving closer to the life you're destined to live. The courage to walk away is a gift you give yourself. It's an act of love, a declaration that you're worth the risk, the discomfort, and the change. When you embrace it, everything shifts. Your relationships become healthier, your self-esteem skyrockets, and your life begins to reflect the beauty of someone who knows her worth and refuses to settle for anything less. That's the power of courage. That's the power of choosing you over comfort, over familiarity, over the fear of what's next. Because what's next is always better when it's aligned with your purpose and your worth. Choosing to surround yourself with positivity is about more than just avoiding negativity. It's about intentionally cultivating an environment that nurtures your growth, fuels your dreams, and uplifts your spirit. It's about being mindful of who you allow into your space and recognizing that everyone isn't meant to stay. Some people are seasonal. They're there for a reason, a lesson, or a moment. Others are meant to be lifelong companions in your journey. The key is to discern which is which and to protect your peace fiercely. Surrounding yourself with positivity begins with awareness. It's about knowing your boundaries and refusing to compromise your well-being for the sake of convenience or fear of loneliness. When you value yourself, you understand that your mental, emotional, and spiritual health are non-negotiable. You start to see the signs of toxicity, people who drain your energy, manipulate your emotions, or diminish your worth, and you learn to walk away without guilt, because you realize that your peace is a priceless gift that must be guarded at all costs. Creating a positive environment also means actively seeking out relationships that uplift and inspire you. It's about being intentional in your friendships, your romantic partnerships, and your professional connections. When you're intentional, you prioritize quality over quantity. You invest your time and energy into people who celebrate your victories, support your dreams, and challenge you to grow. These relationships are rooted in respect, honesty, and mutual encouragement. They're not perfect, but they're healthy and they reflect your worth. It's also about aligning yourself with communities, spaces, and even media that reinforce your value. When you're intentional about what you consume, be it books, podcasts, social media, or conversations, you're feeding your mind and spirit with positivity. You're affirming your worth with every choice, because the truth is, environments influence us. They shape our mindset, our confidence, and our self-perception. When you fill your life with positivity, you naturally begin to see yourself through a lens of possibility and potential. Building a positive environment isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about making small, consistent choices that elevate your life. It's about walking away from situations or people that diminish your light and stepping into spaces that nurture it. It's about carefully curating your life so that everything within it reflects the love, respect, and worth you hold for yourself. When you do this, you start to attract relationships that mirror your own sense of value. Remember, you're not responsible for how others treat you, but you are responsible for how you respond. When you recognize your worth, you refuse to settle for less. You become intentional about who and what you allow into your life because you understand that your environment shapes your reality. Surrounding yourself with positivity becomes a shield and a catalyst for transformation. It's a way of saying, I deserve a life filled with encouragement, love, and growth, and then taking deliberate steps to make that life a reality. When you choose positivity, you're not just protecting yourself. You're also inspiring others to do the same. Your example becomes a beacon of hope, showing others that they too can walk away from what no longer serves them. Seek out healthy connections and live authentically. Your life becomes a testimony that the environment we cultivate matters. It's the fertile ground where your dreams grow, your confidence flourishes, and your spirit is renewed. As you navigate relationships, remember that they're a reflection of how you see yourself. When you value yourself, you naturally attract relationships that honor that value. When you're intentional about surrounding yourself with positivity, you create a ripple effect, lifting yourself and others toward a higher purpose. It's about creating a life where your environment nurtures your soul, fuels your passions, and reminds you every day that you are deserving of love, respect, and joy. When you make this a priority, you're cultivating a life that's rooted in authenticity, growth, and the unwavering belief that you're worthy of all good things that life has to offer. Sometimes life tests us in ways we never expected. It throws challenges, setbacks, disappointments, and heartbreaks right into our path, trying to shake our foundation and make us question everything we thought we knew. But what if I told you that those very moments of difficulty are actually the fertile ground for your greatest growth? That within every struggle lies an opportunity, a divine setup for a comeback that's greater than anything you've ever imagined, because resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about learning how to rise stronger, wiser, and more determined each time life pushes you down. Resilience is born out of a deep understanding that setbacks don't define you. They refine you. They are part of the process of becoming. When life knocks you down, it's tempting to stay there, to let the pain and disappointment consume you. But real resilience is about gathering your strength, dusting yourself off, and choosing to keep moving forward. It's about looking adversity in the face and saying, you might have knocked me down, but you will not keep me there. It's about cultivating a mindset that sees every obstacle as an opportunity to develop character, patience, and perseverance. Many times, we believe that resilience is about doing everything on our own, but true resilience is rooted in community and connection. It's about knowing that you don't have to carry every burden alone. When we surround ourselves with people who uplift, encourage, and challenge us, we tap into an inner strength that we didn't know we had. Resilience flourishes when we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to lean into our faith, and to trust that even in the darkest moments, there is light ahead. That light is often revealed through the support of others, through shared stories of overcoming, and through the quiet whisper of hope that refuses to be silenced. Resilience also requires a shift in perspective. It's about seeing failure not as the end, but as a necessary part of your journey. Every mistake, every disappointment, every closed door is a lesson in disguise. It's an instructor that teaches you what you need to know to do better, to go further, to become more. When you embrace failure as part of your growth, you remove its power to diminish you. Instead, it becomes fuel that propels you into your next season of victory. Because resilience is cultivated through a mindset that refuses to be defined by setbacks, but instead is fueled by the unwavering belief that better days are coming. You have to understand that resilience isn't a one-time achievement. It's a daily practice. It's waking up each morning with a renewed determination to keep going. Regardless of what yesterday brought, it's choosing faith over fear, hope over despair, and perseverance over giving up. Resilience is about developing a thick skin and a tender heart at the same time. It's about being strong enough to face the storms and gentle enough to hold on to your dreams through the turbulence. When you learn to adapt, to adjust your sails when the wind shifts, you become unstoppable. Your resilience becomes the armor that shields your spirit and the wings that lift you higher. Resilience also teaches us humility. It reminds us that we're not invincible but resilient because we serve a divine power greater than any challenge. It's about surrendering control and trusting that even in the chaos, there's a purpose. Sometimes, resilience means letting go of what we thought was supposed to be and embracing what is. It's about having the courage to accept the broken pieces of our story and trusting that, with faith, those pieces will be used to build something beautiful. Resilience is about trusting the process of healing and growth, knowing that every scar, every wound has a story of survival behind it. It's important to recognize that resilience isn't just for the individual, it's for the collective. When one person rises from adversity, they inspire others to do the same. Our stories of overcoming become testimonies that encourage others to believe that they too can rise above their circumstances. Resilience is contagious. It's a chain reaction of hope, courage, and faith that ripples through generations. When we refuse to give up, we set a standard for those who are watching, for those who need to see that victory is possible even in the face of defeat. Resilience also requires us to develop patience. Sometimes we want quick results, immediate breakthroughs, instant healing, but real resilience is about understanding that growth takes time. It's about showing up every day, even when progress feels slow or invisible. It's about trusting the divine timing of your life and knowing that every season has a purpose. When you're resilient, you understand that setbacks are just setups for a comeback and that the process is just as valuable as the outcome. Patience is a fruit of resilience, a sign that you trust the journey even when the destination isn't yet clear. When I think about resilience, I think about those moments when life tries to break us, but instead it shapes us into something stronger. It's about learning how to dance in the rain, to find beauty in the broken pieces, and to stand tall when everything around you is crumbling. Resilience is about holding on to hope when everything appears lost. It's about knowing that your story isn't over because of a difficult chapter. It's about trusting that the author of your life is writing a victorious ending, and that your resilience is the pen that writes your comeback story. You were built for resilience, even when you don't feel like it. You have an inner strength that can withstand storms, heal wounds, and rise again. It's about cultivating that strength every day by feeding your faith, strengthening your spirit, and fueling your hope. Because resilience isn't just about survival, it's about thriving through adversity. It's about knowing that your setbacks are setups for a greater comeback, that every tear is watering the seeds of your future success. Resilience is the power to keep going when everything tells you to stop, to keep dreaming when all seems lost, and to keep believing when doubt tries to creep in. Resilience is a divine gift, and it's yours to nurture. It's a muscle that grows stronger the more you use it. With each challenge, you're being strengthened for what's ahead. With each failure, you're becoming more equipped to handle the next one. When you realize that resilience isn't just about bouncing back, but about bouncing forward, you step into a new level of power. You begin to see every hardship as an opportunity for growth, every disappointment as a redirection, and every struggle as a stepping stone toward your destiny. Your story of resilience isn't just about overcoming, it's about transforming every setback into a setup for something extraordinary. It's about standing firm in faith, trusting that your resilience is rooted in divine strength. It's about knowing that you're never alone in your struggles, that there's a divine hand holding you, guiding you, empowering you. When you lean into that divine strength, resilience becomes effortless because it's no longer just about human efforts. It's about divine empowerment working through you. Your resilience becomes a testament to the fact that with God, all things are possible, and even in the darkest nights, His light will shine through.